Hello everyone, welcome to Data Science with Harshit. My name is Harshit Tyagi. I'm a data science instructor and mentor. So, as I talked about in my previous video that we are going to cover the entire data science domain, all the four branches, be it Python programming right from the scratch, understanding different libraries and packages, or learning about statistical and mathematical explanation behind all those models, or writing some cool kick-ass machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So before you get down to solving all those problems, whenever you have a data science project at hand, the first thing that you have to do is create a Python environment. So in this video, I'm going to cover how to set up a cool, ideal Python environment for your data science project using these three components coming up. So the first component out of the three is the Unix shell, and hardly a day goes by when a data scientist or a software engineer does not use a Unix shell to accomplish their plethora of tasks. So after a certain stage, when your project goes into production, you will find yourself working on Google Cloud or AWS, and most of them are Linux based and require some familiarity with the Unix shell. So I put down a cheat sheet for shell scripting if you don't know already, so you can have a look. And we'll be using the command line interface to install Anaconda, Git, and perform all the other operations like starting your local host server, your Jupyter Hub server, committing and pushing all the changes on the Git repository. So I would be using command line interface throughout this course, and I put down the links for you to install. All the Windows users, they can use Cygwin that comes with a collection of open source tools and functionalities, so you can make use of that. Now the second step out of the three is installing Python and Anaconda. So to set up our environment, we first need to have Python on our machine, and there are various Python distributions available, and we need the one that works best for data science. Now Anaconda comes with its own Python distribution, which is also the recommended one, and it will be installed along with the Anaconda itself. So this is the Anaconda distribution page, the official documentation. Let's see, let's go to installation from here. All right, and since we are working on macOS, I'll go and click on macOS. You will be using your own machine links. So if you're working on Windows, go to installing on Windows. If you're working on Linux, go to installing on Linux. So alright, so the first step, I am using the command line install. So in your browser, download the command line version. So I'm downloading the Mac OS installer first. Click on this and it will redirect you to the installation, the Mac OS installer page. From here, I need to install Python 3.7 version, 64-bit command line installer. So I click on command line installer. Now this is getting downloaded here, and we'll wait for a couple of minutes. So now that Anaconda is installed, we are back to the documentation, and here I'm gonna click on keep. All right, so my installer is downloaded. So the next step is you have to verify the data integrity using SHA-256. So just copy this and paste it in your shell, and make sure that we provide the path where the file has been downloaded. So this is where my file resides. This is where my file resides, and I hit enter. This will take a couple of seconds. Okay, so we have this. The data integrity is all verified. Now we are going to install for Python 3.7. So just copy the third step and paste it over here. All right, use the bash this command and hit enter. Now, in order to continue the installation process, please review the license agreement. Enter to continue. All right, keep pressing enter till you reach the bottom where it's going to ask you, do you accept the license terms? Yes, you type, hit enter, and hit enter to confirm the location. So it's saying that it's going to be installing Anaconda at this path. So I'm saying okay, let's hit enter. So now the installation process has started and it's going to take a couple of minutes. So why do we need Anaconda? Basically, data science often requires you to work with a lot of scientific packages like SciPy and NumPy. There are a lot of data manipulation packages like Pandas. You're working with IDEs and interactive Jupyter notebooks. And Anaconda basically comes with all these packages pre-installed. And so you have two things when you are installing Anaconda. One is Conda and one is Navigator. Conda is for basically handling all such operations using command line interface, and Navigator is for the graphical user interface. And Anaconda is basically a flawless manager, both your package manager as well as your environment manager, uh, which keeps track of all the packages and all the dependencies for us. So now we don't need to worry about any of the Python package. Most of them come pre-installed, and if you want to install a new package, you can do that simply using Conda or pip. I'll tell you the command. So it has asked me, do you wish the installer to initialize Anaconda 3 by, so I say yes. All right, so we have Anaconda all installed for us, and it has come with a lot of packages and IDs and all such stuff. So after this, once you have Anaconda installed, the next thing that you will do is work with the different environments. And since Anaconda is basically also an environment manager. So as you'll progress, you'll find yourself working on multiple applications, multiple projects. So these applications will be dependent on different versions of Python or different versions of packages. So you'll be working with a team, let's say, or a partner, and you might want to standardize the configuration so that all of you are able to run the project on different machines. So in that particular case, you need to create and configure different isolated environments. And Conda has basically Conda comes to your rescue, which allows us to create separate environments containing files, packages, and all their dependencies that are isolated from other environments. So let's see how we can create a new environment. So the command here is you type in Conda, create, pass the name of the environment. I am naming it as DSWH env, hit enter, and this is going to create this environment named DSWH, data science with Harshit environment. So once this environment gets created, now the environment is all set up. We need to activate this environment in order to use it, and the command for that is Conda activate DSWH, name of your environment. Just hit enter and you see that our environment is now activated here. So all right, let's see if you want to list all the environments which exist in your system. So Conda info dash dash envs, so it'll give you the list of environments that already exist in your machine. So I have base comes by default. I have these three that I have created on my machine. So yep, and in case you want to deactivate, this is the command to deactivate your environment. So let's come to the final part, which is the third component, installing Git and using GitHub in order to set up our project directory. So version control has been a blessing for all the programmers and data scientists, and Git is the most widely used version control system. It permits us to keep track of our progress. We have a log of almost what we did, when we did it, and allows us to go back to a previous state of our project. On the other hand, GitHub is a cloud-based hosting service that helps you keep track of your progress, of your source code history. So if you want to use, just keep track of our project locally, you won't need GitHub. But at a certain stage, you would be working with teams, partners, collaborators. GitHub becomes necessary at that point of time. And also, you can build a very strong profile to showcase your projects and analysis on GitHub itself. So I'll be walking you through how to create a new repository, how to set up all those things. But before all of that, you would first need to install Git. So this is the link. I have put it down in the description below. So make sure that you have installed Git on your machines, be it macOS, Windows, or Linux. So once you have installed Git, I already have it installed on my machine. So let's go ahead and create the directory in which we are going to put all our projects. So I'm naming it as dswh mk directory. So let's go inside this directory that we have created. So now I am inside this dswh directory. Let's create another project folder for this particular video. Let's say environment setup. All right, cd environment setup. I am now inside my environment setup directory. So now let's move to GitHub. Here I'm going to start a project. This will redirect us to repository creation page. You name your repository. Let's say environment setup, setting environment. All right, let's hit create repository. So this will basically create a repository for us, and yeah, here we are. So we have these three options, and create a new repository on the command line. So this is what we're going to use. So let's copy the URL, this HTTPS link, repository link. So here I am inside my project folder. So first thing that you need to do is the first step, which is you create a new file, and you create a new file called readme.md, and you are adding this line to this file. So you hit enter, and when you hit ls, this is the file that has been created for you. Now go to the second step, which is git init, copy paste, and then this command is going to initialize the directory with a git repository. So we have an initialized empty git repository. All right, let's go to the next step. So the file that we have just created, now we are going to add this file. Once you have added this file, you have to commit all your changes. So since the new file which has been added is the new change, so we have to commit this change. This is -m stands for message. This is my message first commit. So I have hit enter, and I have my first commit of the project done. All right, next what you have to do is you have to add this origin. So basically you are connecting your local repository to this GitHub repository that you have created. So now after that, all your changes, whenever you're going to push them, they are going to be hosted on this cloud platform called GitHub on your repository. So copy this remote add origin, the repository link, hit enter. The remote has been added. Now the last step is git push -u origin master. Hit enter. We're going to push all the changes that we have made, and you see we have got everything done. It has pushed all the changes on our master. Now if we refresh our repository, So here we have our readme.md, which has this line environment setup that we created. All right, so we are all set. So now let's go back and activate our Conda environment. Conda activate dswh underscore env. So our environment is all ready to use, activated, and the first thing that we are going to do is let's check if we have Jupyter Notebook, where we are going to do all of our work. Hit Jupyter Notebook in the terminal and let's see what we get. All right, so this has started a local host server. So if you want to go, you can simply so basically this has rendered the directory structure, whatever that we have inside this directory. So if you want to create a new Python 3 notebook, we can click on this. I'm going to walk you through how to work with notebook in the next video, so stay tuned up till then. So yeah, so we have our Jupyter notebook now ready to work with. So now that we are all set up with our environment, we are ready to get started with our project. And I have put down all the links in the description below, whatever I have used throughout the course of this video. So if you found this video useful, do not forget to like the video, share the video, and also make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on all the upcoming videos on data science. I'm going to be rolling out the next video really soon. So till then, stay tuned and keep learning data science with Harshit.